皆様ごきげんよう。Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my stream. メイド水木の屋根裏配信へようこそいらっしゃいました。本日ですね、日本語勉強、日本語学習ストリーム配信ということで、はい、マイナさん待機ありがとうございます。マンディさんこんばんは、元気です。 Okay, so thank you so much for being here with us. Today is the second time that I'm doing this Japanese one-on-one with Mizuki and today we have Mim-san with us. Mim-san どうぞ。
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to learn from you today.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And for those of you who are here, please let me know how the audio is because as you know, I am not tech savvy whatsoever. I don't think I was born at the right time zone. I mean timeline. But so let me know if there's anything with the audio that I can make it better. もし音質のことで改善できることだったり、なんかこっちの人の声の方が大きい、こっちの人の声小さい、 BGM 大きいとかありましたらいつでも言ってください。よろしくお願いします。 Okay, so ミムさん、本当に本日はお越しくださいましてありがとうございます。 Thank you again so much for coming. You told me that you have been studying Japanese on your own, so I was wondering, which do you prefer, me speaking in really easy Japanese only or speaking Japanese and English back to back?
Okay, yeah, so I would prefer both Japanese and English because I'm still at the very, very beginner stage. I only know some words, so yeah, I'm not quite yet at conversation level.
No, that's okay. That's perfect. Okay, so I'll be speaking both Japanese and English on this stream. ということで、日本語と英語交互に話していこうと思います。はい、リーデンさん、こんばんは、ごきげんよう。Okay, so I'm just gonna introduce myself really quick and now have Mim-san introduce herself as well. ちょっと自己紹介からしていこうと思います。We got another I don't know, I feel like the theme of my Japanese teaching streams are with those who have furry ears, but 私はright? 私、メイド水木と申します。My name is メイド水木メイド。メイド is my family name. 水木 is my first name. 私、半獣人のメイド日本語教師系 Vtuber として活動させていただいております。I am a Vtuber. I'm a half dog maid Japanese teaching Vtuber.I don't know, what else? I'm Japanese. I'm born and raised, fully Japanese by blood. Also, the dog side of me is Japanese. And I'm supposed to be a native speaker in Japanese, but just wanted to throw it out there that I also struggle with Kanji, which is the topic of the day. So, 私日本人なんですけれども漢字は苦手です。でも本日は漢字を教えていこうと思っています。よろしくお願いします。Pleased to meet you. イエーイ。はい。はい、ということでミムさん、自己紹介 self-introduction お願いしてもいいですか？ Would that be
okay?Okay, so I'll go slowly so that way maybe I'll break it up so like if you want to translate for your audience as well.
Sounds good.
So hello and nice to meet everybody. I am Mim. I'm a wholesome kitsune who loves to transform to fit the games I play.I don't know if you want to translate that.
Okay, so こちらミムさんです。こんにちは、皆様ミムです。キツネの VTuber さんということで、キツネっていうことでね、いろんなゲームによってご自分の姿を変えられるのがお好きだそうです。
Yeah, and so I like to play lots of all kinds of varieties of games, including indie games. I also do some hand cam streams, but as you know, I've been doing a weekly Japanese learning stream where I use Memrise is the name of the software. I call it Memrise.
So cute.
To try and learn Japanese.
素晴らしい。こちらミムさんなんですけど、いろんなゲーム配信をされたり、インディーゲームがお好きなようです。あと、毎週ですね、日本語を学ぶゲームをされている、ゲームじゃない、日本語勉強配信をされているようで、それでね、日本語をずっと学ばれているそうです。すごいですね。That's awesome. Oh, but yeah. I also love indie games too.
Yeah. And let's see. I have a very wholesome and supportive fan base, and I just want to create a supportive environment while making comfy streams. So that's kind of what we do on my channel.
Oh, that's so
on the main
sweet.
channel.
ということで、ミミさんですね、いろんな人をサポートできるすごくあったかい配信環境、あったかいチャンネルを目指されているそうで、すごく素敵なファンの皆様がいらっしゃるよっていうことを伝えてくださいました。Okay, so thank you so much again for being here. I really love your big ears. I just have a thing with big ears.
Thank you. I like yours too.
Thank you. 嬉しい。はい、ということで、Sergio さん、Hello, hola. ということで、Maina さん says hi to you, Mim さん。She's calling you Miss Mim. かわいい。
Hello, nice to meet you. And my chat also is saying hello to you, so.
Hi, chat. Hello, everybody. So, I guess we'll be trying to pick up some chat comments here and there. Also, I just want you to know that this is a stream where I want everybody to ask questions if there's any questions. We might not be able to answer all of them according to the time, but we'll try to do our very best, I guess, my very best. So, Mim-san's chat too, if there's any questions that you would like to ask about the topic of kanji, let me know. はい、もし何か質問があったらいつでも聞いてくださいということで、よろしくお願いします。Okay, so I guess we'll just start.
Yeah, let's do it.
はい。ということで、We will start. Okay, so I made some PowerPoints. I don't know how well it's made. I made it at midnight, so there might be some mistypes and stuff. I'm really bad at spelling, sorry. But I just wanted to start off with asking, what is kanji? So today's topic again is kanji, but what is kanji? Mim-san, ちょっと質問してもいいですか? Would you mind me asking, what do you know about kanji? What is kanji?
Okay, so what I know about kanji is I think it originates from China. It's like the characters, and it can mean like whole words. Like one character could mean a whole word or even more. So it's and then my question, I think, one of the reasons why I asked for this topic was because I've been noticing some common elements in different kanji, and so I was curious about it. So I'm very curious about kanji and like kind of I would like to learn more. So that's why I asked for this.
No, that's
topic.
Perfect. I love that. Yeah, so kanji, like you said, that what you said was perfect. Yes, it originated from China. So, just so you know, we Japanese people also struggle a lot with kanji. So, there's no reason why that people should strive for perfection, because if you come to my Japanese streams, like where I speak Japanese, whenever I receive comments, I sometimes struggle reading them too. But kanji can be hard. But like you said, Mim-san, it can also be really interesting. Hi. Oh, Mikirin-san is asking a question really quick. Though I have a question. What's the ideal number of kanji to learn before you can be accepted to work in Japan if ever you're from another country? Oh, that's a really interesting question. Well, I'll try to answer this really quick. But in Japan, you might probably have heard of the Japanese language placement test, which is called JLPT. It depends on what field you're trying to get in, but as I have a master who I teach Japanese to, which is the reason why I started to do this. But from what I understand and from what I see around me, from interacting with people who work in Japan who are not native Japanese speakers, they will need to have around N3, N2, N1 level of the Japanese placement test, which can be really hard. So it really depends on the field, because depending on the field, the amount of kanji that people use might be really different. But considering that you want to be a little bit more on the fluent side, I would say maybe 1,000. I know that might sound a little bit, but I'll explain the reason why a little bit more later. Hi.
So I'll jump in and say in my chat, so Dario had said to the first question about what is kanji, symbols that represent ideas, and both Dario and Dirtmaster both said maybe 1,000. So right on the money, you guys.
Yes, 1,000. Yes, there's a lot, but when it comes to the ones that we commonly use, that's a different story. It's like how there's so many words in the English language, but does that mean that we use all of those millions of vocabulary every single day? Not really. Okay, so これですね、漢字. What is kanji? Kanji, like you said, a lot of us know, it's a Chinese writing system. I think it's interesting because apparently it was invented around 1300 BC. So it's ancient. It has such a long history. And there's a lot of countries that actually still uses this Chinese writing system. It's just that in Japan we call it kanji, but different countries obviously have different names for it. In China, Chinese, like Mandarin, Cantonese, they use it. In the Korean culture, they use it. Obviously, they now have Hangul, which I think is a very interesting and beautiful way of writing too. But I believe that a lot of, for example, family names can be written in kanji in Korean as well. Obviously in Japanese, and I didn't know this, but I believe Vietnam uses them as well. So, hi. So, I wanted to go through some differences between original Chinese character and Japanese kanji, just because I realized that there's a lot of people who are from countries and traditions and cultures who know kanji, the Chinese characters, but they still struggle with kanji. This can be because of the ways of pronunciation, and some letters are different, meanings are different. For example, in mainland China, they now currently use the simplified characters, while in Japan, we still stick a little bit more to the traditional ways of writing. So it can be really, really different. And because of the long history that Japan has been using kanji, it has been about 2,000 years, I guess. It has changed kind of dramatically, and so you'll still see a lot of similarities in pronunciation, similarities in meanings, but because of the long history and how it developed, there can be a little bit of a difference there. Hi. So
wow, that's crazy.
It is crazy. I really wish I could understand like Mandarin and Cantonese just because I know kanji, but I can read a lot of them. I can kind of understand what they say, but it doesn't mean that I understand what they're saying at all. ちょっと悲しい。Sad. So, I'm just gonna cover this really, really quick, but when it comes to Japanese kanji, Mim-san, you might have realized, and this might be the reason why it can be really difficult. In Japan, there's at least 2 ways of reading one kanji in Japanese. So this can be kind of a throw-off for a lot of people, because I believe in many other cultures, there's usually only like 1 way of reading, while in Japan, we have at least 2 ways, which kind of sucks. I don't like it. Yes. But there is a reason for this one too. Again, we'll just go through this really, really quick. We have onyomi, and we have something called kunyomi. Onyomi is closer to the original Chinese sounds. So this is the sounds and pronunciation that came in from China a long time ago. And then we have kunyomi. So this is the way of reading where people put the meanings of the letters and the Japanese sounds and words together. And so real quick history lesson, I guess. Japan already had the speaking system of the language when we were, I guess, in a way founded by the Chinese people back in the days. Thousands, well, not thousands, but a long, long time ago. But we didn't have a writing system, which is the reason why we borrowed their writing system and started our own. So hiragana and katakana, that a lot of you already know, was invented after kanji. And if you look at some katakana, you will see similarities between hiragana, katakana, and kanji, and that's the reason why is because all of them actually developed from kanji. So we have the Chinese original sounds, and then there's things that we already had. We already had some words, and we just decided to add the meanings to the sounds that we already had, which is the reason why there's two different ways of reading. はい。そうなんです。Okay. And then, okay, これです。This is the main topic of today. This is the main topic. Okay, Mim さん、radicals って聞いたことありますか？ Have you ever heard of the term radicals?
I've heard of it, but I don't know I'm not sure if I know what they are.
Oh no, that's okay. That's perfect. Because to be fair, I'm not really a master in this either. But so you mentioned that you have recognized that there's a lot of similar characteristics between different kanjis, and that is because of this radicals. So radicals is, well, in English it's called radicals. In Japanese we call it bushu or tsukuri. This is little parts of kanji. So I just want you to look really quick at the kanji that says bu, at the very left. Bu. Do you see that there's like the right part of the kanji and the left part of the kanji?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a puzzle, right? It's like a jigsaw puzzle. They're a combination of different kanjis. So, for example, if we look at the left bottom side of this kanji, bu, this looks like the kanji for mouth, kuchi. If we look at the left top little part of the kanji bu, it looks like the kanji for standing up, tatsu. And so radicals means that we use the word radicals to point at different parts of the kanji. So tsukuri is what we call the right side of the kanji, and we don't really focus on this as much as bushu. Like, you ask what tsukuri is for different kanji, people won't be able to answer you. I definitely won't be able to answer you. It's really hard. But this is really important. Bushu, the left side or other parts of the kanji. When we look up kanji or kanji dictionaries, this is what we focus on, and this is what determines the groups of the kanji. Yes. Okay. So I just wanted to talk really quick about radicals that are actually used often. So we have, I know there's quite a bit, but there's 8 of them on the screen. Mim-san, is there anything that you recognize from these?
Yeah, so the first one on the left is to step, right?
Yes. Oh wow, you already know so much. Yes, exactly.
And then so on the top one on the right, that one looks like the house, like that I keep seeing places where there's like I call it a house. I give them names. Like I figure
it does look like a house, like a rooftop.
You'll make I don't know, you probably laugh at like how I interpret these kanji, but the one that looks like a house to me, that I've noticed a lot in words that have to do with food. A lot. And then the one below it looks familiar, but I don't know what that one is. But it looks familiar.
That's really fine. So there's no, but actually, I really like the way you learn, because I think that's really important when it comes to language learning. I think it's so important when people can, like look at things and try to figure out similarities between things that you already know and the letter or the word, because that's really the easiest way to learn new things. So that's amazing. 素晴らしいと思います。
Yeah, and so also I just noticed too, the third one on the left, the one that's like a line with the 2 dashes on it. So that one, I've noticed, like, I think that one's on ocha, right?
It is. So desu. Ocha desu. Yes.
And it looks like, so what I think of when I see that, it looks like a sword, like hanging up.
Oh, that's true in like Japanese rooms of samurai.
Right.
Yeah, it does. 確かに. Wow. I'm learning new stuff too because now I can know like how to teach them a lot more effectively. Loopson is asking a question. I'm still confused how to use the radical to find words in dictionary. That's a hard one. So I don't know if we'll have enough time to go into stroke orders and numbers of strokes. But when it comes to radicals, we go by strokes. So, for example, the one on the left top, gyonin-ben, the one that has to do with moving forward or walking, there's 3 strokes. So if you look at kanji dictionaries, there's usually a part at the very front that shows all the different radicals of the kanji, and it's grouped together with many other ones with the same number of strokes. Some has only 1 stroke, some has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe the biggest one is like 15 or 20, I don't know. But that's how we usually look up words when we don't know how to read it or write it, I guess. So yeah, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
I know. But to be fair, in school we still have paper dictionaries and we still learn how to use them. But we already have apps, on our phones that you can just like write the kanji and mimic it as they look, and they will just show you what it means. So using apps are fine too. It can be a lot easier. Or, Google Translate. Yeah. We can just use technology. Technology for good causes. Yes. So
I have a comment. I already learned so many new things about kanji. Thank you.
Thank you. ありがとうございます。Hi. Okay, so I was thinking of going through those radicals because I really realized that, so before the stream, I made Mim-san send me all the kanji that she knows. I'm pretty sure that was a really hard task, so arigatou gozaimasu and sorry. But I realized quite a few of words that kanji that Mim-san knows that has these radicals, which is the reason why I chose those. So I thought of going through them to explain a little bit more on how radicals work. So, これですね。Mim-san, これcan you read what it says here? I don't know if you can see my cursor. The hiragana, heart.
Okay. Okay, I'm still working on memorizing all my words, but it's okay. So that's the key with is that E?
It is gi, yes. And
okay.
Sorry, I know it's really hard to distinguish because of the font, but this is a small yo, so it's gyo.
Yo, and then that's chi, right?
Again, sorry. This is because of the font. I should have used something else. This is u.
Oh, that's u.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ni. No, that's the
Mm-hmm.
and then that's which one is that one? It's the he, I think.
This is he with a dot with a dakuten.
Be, ben. So you. I don't know.
Oh no, you did it perfectly. So yes, this is gyonin-ben. Gyonin-ben. Repeat after me in front of you and in front of the screen too. All of you chat. Gyonin-ben.
Yoni-ben.
Hi. So, well, to be fair, it's not really necessary for you to remember this. I guess I just wanted to chastise you. So this is called Gyonin-ben, and this is one of the really common radicals, bushu, that we use. And just really quick, sorry, I really should have used a different font, but the reason why this looks a little bit different and a little bit more harder to read is because this is like cursives in Japanese. Closer to cursives, because Japanese used to be written by brushes. It's we didn't have pens or pencils, and so a lot of them has very like curvy / lines that connect with each other. And so I'm pretty sure you're used to u without this line in the middle. But so sorry, my fault. But that's the reason why this is a cursive-ish kind of font, more brushstroke-y kind of font.
I like the way it looks with the brushstrokes. It's so pretty.
It is pretty, but it does make it harder to recognize it. But yeah, so gyonin then, this one is used for kanji that has to do with walking or moving slowly. And so I wrote down a few kanji that has this radical in it. There's ato. Ato means later. There's kare, which I will go into, which means he, and then shitagau. I decided to write a whole word instead of just a kanji so that it will make a little bit more sense. Shitagau means to obey or to follow. So all of them has to do with walking or moving. Except for kare, I'm pretty sure. You're probably like, this doesn't have to do with any moving or, walking away because this means he, right? But
yeah.
Ato, later, later, when you go to later, you, I guess, move slowly to the future. Shitagau, when you obey or to follow, you walk after or move slowly. Okay, so, kare ですね. So what does kare mean? Kare, oh wait, did I already say that? I probably already said it. My bad. But yes, kare means he. And then Mim-san, I remember that you asked a really interesting question. Do you remember what question you asked about kare?
Yeah, because so the kanji for he, she, they, or whatever, it was like this one which was to step, and then the next one was like leather or skin, and I thought that was like such a weird combination, kind of a creepy combination.
It's like gory. It's like, what, skin?
Yeah. Step into skin too.
I know,
yeah,
that's
like,
what?
I'm considering that one.
So yeah, but I love how you pointed that out because to be fair, I actually didn't know either. We also don't really go through how kanji was made, but it's I actually went on Google, thank you Google, and like looked up and studied a little bit about this kanji. So the way kanji is made, there's a lot of different ways that kanji is made. They can be like hieroglyphs, like literal Egyptian hieroglyphs where they made pictures into letters, and then like this, there's a lot of combinations of different kanjis that makes other kanjis. So apparently that's the same with this one, kare. So this originally, from what I understand, meant that a person was far away, or like you see a person far away. The right side of the kanji tsukuri came from the kanji called nami, which means the waves. And so if you think about waves usually start from far and come closer to you, right? And so apparently that was the significance of it. You see waves that are far away, and then you see a person far away. You combined them with gyonin ben that has to do with walking or moving slowly. Apparently, it started as a kanji to identify that a person was far away from you, like waves that was coming closer to you. And so that's what I learned, which I was like, what? That's so different. So yeah, I guess it didn't have to do with any skin. My guess was that, maybe back in the days, men, especially, like gender roles were, I guess, a little bit more very specific when people lived back in the day. So my guess was that maybe men went hunting and they had to skin the things that they went to hunt for. That was my guess, but I guess it wasn't.
So, yeah.
So yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you for solving that mystery.
No, like I really like that question too, because I never really thought about it either. When you're like born into one culture or language, you just never really like guess or imagine things. So thank you for asking that. It was cool. But I also learned something that was really interesting. Apparently this word kare, this literally meant a person. We never really had a word that meant she or he or they until pretty recently. Until a couple of 100 years ago when the Western influence started coming into Japan and we started to have the idea of like, a little bit more, I wouldn't say gender, but I guess pronouns, because we don't really use kare, kanojo in Japanese. So pronouns really aren't a thing. We just call the person by their names, or we just skip that part. So I guess like kare just signified he, she, they, and everybody else. Kanjo was invented pretty recently, I guess. So I was like, interesting stuff.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So yeah, so again, this is gyoninben. So which means that now that you know this, gyoninben, you're able to understand what kind of kanji or what it means when you see this. Okay, next we have this. Okay, Min-san, I know this might look a little bit hard, but would you mind trying to read this? And by the way, this is actually sa. Again, sorry, this one is a little bit hard to read, but this is sa. The first letter is sa.
Okay, sun, and then that one's... Is that boo?
It's so close. This is su with a dakuten. It's zu, like zu, zu.
Oh, the zu. Uri?
Yes! So it's sanzui altogether.
Zuri.
So sanzui, okay, everybody in front of the screen repeat after me. Sanzui. Sanzui.
Sanzui.
Hi. Okay, so sanzui, this one is used for kanji that has to do with water. I mean, doesn't this kind of look like water splashes? I'm pretty sure that's what it made. That's how it came to be. But this is used for kanji like shiru. Like, do you know miso shiru? Miso soup? Miso shiru is the Japanese way of saying miso soup. Shiru means liquid. I know it's really weird when you direct translate it. It becomes like miso liquid. I don't know how I feel about that, but
I mean, it works.
Yeah, it works. It's liquid miso. But shiru, that means soup. We have ase, which is interesting because the right side of the kanji means to dry up. When you get dry, I don't know, like when you get hot, your inside of the body starts drying up, and I guess you get sweat. Ase means sweat. So, yeah. And then we have words like umi, which means the ocean. So whenever you see this, you get to understand that this kanji has to do something with water.
Okay.
Hi. And then this one, you mentioned that this looks like the top part of cha, right? Ocha. Okay, so this is called kusakamuri. Repeat after me, everybody. Kusakamuri.
Sakamuri.
So kusa means grass, and kamuri means like, how do you call them? What kings have on their heads and queens.
Crowns?
Yes.
Like a crown?
Yes, that. Yes, that. It's a crown. Sorry, I sometimes forget really random words. But kamuri means crowns. It's called kusakamuri, grass, crowns, because it comes at the top of the kanji. And then this one is used for kanji that has to do with plants. So you mentioned ocha, right? Ocha, tea. Tea is made of tea leaves, right? It's made of plants, which is the reason why that kanji has this on the top of them. So yes. And then we have kusa. So originally this is coming from the kanji kusa. I don't know if you ever... Dry liquid sweat, got it. Yes, dry liquid sweat. Sorry, Loop-san said that.
It's like that, like this. It tastes. It's like salty.
Oh yeah.
Drink or something. I've not tried it, but I've heard of it. I think I saw it on YouTube.
Yes, so I know. So as you know, in Japan we like our LOL is kusa. There's a little history behind that. We started from saying wara, which is short for warau, which means to laugh. Wara, when you write it in Romaji, it becomes W-A-R-A. We just started to use W as like to signify laughs, and then when people laughed out really hard, they would just like say www, and when you like put W's all together, it kind of looks like there's grass on the screen. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it does make that. I never thought that though.
Yeah, I mean, you should make a whole video on it. Like, Oh, like, yes, Loop-san just commented www. Exactly. It kind of looks like grass on the ground, right? So, yes. So, having that, the past few years, people started to write kusa because it looks like grass, and kusa literally means grass. And so that's how we now have grasses on our comments when there's something funny going on. Yes.
Funny, okay.
So this. So anyway, so that's kusa. The other kanjis that I have is like hana. Hana means flowers. And then we have imo, that means potatoes. Love imo. Potatoes. So yes, whenever you see this, you can tell that it has something to do with grass or plants. Interesting.
So you said that was potato?
This one is potato. Yes.
So that jagaimo is potato. Is that a different word? Or
It is. So to be extremely technical, jagaimo is what I think it's called white potatoes. You know, like the potatoes that you use for hash browns, like those kind of potatoes. So imo is like the general understanding of the groups of like potatoes. So for example, taro potatoes, sweet potatoes, everything is called imo. And then, but usually, because you know, when we cook, like most of the times we would just use jagaimo, which is the white potatoes. I think it's also called like Irish potatoes or something. I don't really remember the technical terms, but like sweet potatoes are satsumaimo in Japanese. We have taro potatoes, I guess, which is satoimo. And oh, Min-san, do you know konnyaku? Have you ever heard of konnyaku?
no.
So we have this like really interesting food. It's called konnyaku. I have no idea how to explain it, but it's this like really jiggly gray thing. It looks like jelly, but it's not. It's really weird because it's made of this imo that is called konnyaku imo, and people believe that it was poison because when you eat it raw or even cooked, it makes your tongue go like you know, when you eat those like pop candies when it fizzles on your tongue.
Well, yeah.
So people believed that it actually was poison, but I guess Japanese people are really weird. Somebody decided to really try it out, and so people decided to like extract starch from that potato, cook it, and people like, you know, solidified it, which made into this like jiggly weird textured thing, and now we eat it like that. But I guess it took like forever to make it, but anyways.
What does it taste like? It
actually doesn't have it doesn't have a taste, really.
Sort of like a base for other flavors.
We usually cook it with like, for example, soy sauce and sugar and meating, which makes like teriyaki kind of a taste.
Wow.
But here's the thing, this is kind of the reason why people like it. It's 0 kilocalories. You eat it as much as you want, you don't gain any weight, I guess. So it's considered like this ultimate diet food. It's really interesting though. But yeah, so like my master, he isn't Japanese, so when I started working for him, like I took him to Japanese like local restaurants, and he wanted to try it out, and he was like, "What is this?" Because it's so weird. It looks like it has charcoal mixed in it, because apparently how it was made in the olden days, people like boiled it with charcoal or something. So it's gray. It's not white, it's not brown, it's gray, and there's like dark spots on it. And so, to be fair, it kind of looks like alien gut. Sorry if any of you are like eating right now, but it's...
I'm gonna have to look that up after this.
Yes,
too.
please do. It's so interesting. But I personally like the taste. You really have to cook it well though, because it doesn't have a taste, but it smells really bad when you don't cook it. So I still don't really understand how people decided to come to the conclusion of eating a poisonous potato, but that's the little talk on konnyaku imo. Even the plant looks alien. Oh, I guess somebody looked it up. Yes, the plant really does look like an alien. It's I don't know, Japanese people are weird. Like we have so many food that will be poisonous, but we just like came up with different ways to avoid poison. I don't know how many people ended up dying in the pursuit of, trying to eat it. It's so weird.
Okay. Very creative.
Very creative. Yes, I guess people are really creative. But whenever you have a chance, maybe you can try it out. But I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, so we'll go through the rest really fast because I do want to talk a little bit about what I think can be the most effective way of studying kanji on your own. But this is called mongamae. Mon means a gate. Doesn't this kind of look like a gate? Like the ones that has two doors? Yes, so this one is used for kanji that has to do with like entering or going out or something that has to do with it. Like for example, I wrote down hiraku and tojiru. Hiraku means to open and tojiru means to close. This is what you see on Japanese elevators. We don't yes, we have those triangles that signifies what to open and what to close. But when you enter, just say like older buildings, the buttons will say this. You either open the gate or close the gate. So this is called mongamae. If you see this, has to do something with gates. Gates.
Isn't the kanji for tamago very similar to that?
Oh, it kind of does look like it. It does look like it, but tamago is a little bit different. I don't know if I can. Donata ka? I'm just gonna ask my Japanese people on the chat. どなたか卵ってチャットに書いていただいてもよろしいですか？ごめんなさい。So tamago, sorry, because I'm just scared that if I open YouTube, my internet's gonna crash. That's how it goes. But tamago, like you said, there's like two parts, the one on the left and one on the right. The middle part is like a straight line all the way to the bottom. I don't know if that makes sense. Wait, I don't know if there's anybody Japanese left. Okay, let's see. I think I can do it. Okay, sorry, Maina-san, thank you so much. Maina-san actually wrote 4 different ways, yes, but we have a kanji for egg on its own. We actually have another kanji that has 2 kanjis to signify egg. We also read it in hiragana and sometimes katakana. So Maina-san, arigatou gozaimasu. But yes, it's a little bit different. Hi. But good question and good point. They do look really similar. Hi. Okay, and then this is what we call shoku, and like you mentioned, this does look like the kanji for eat, right? And it is. It's a little bit simplified, but again, this goes on the left side, and this is used for kanji that has to do with eating and drinking. Like, you mentioned nomu, which means to drink. It is used for that. It is also used for kanji for mochi. I wrote that down on the middle. So mochi, for example, I'm pretty sure mochi ice cream and stuff is really popular, right?
Yeah, mochi is like
I know. I love mochi ice cream too, but did you know that's actually not mochi?
Yeah.
So this one's the actual mochi. What people call mochi in the West, we usually call it yuhi, which has another interesting kanji. It means like cow skin. It's not made of cow skin. I guess it means that it's like as silky and smooth as cow skin. It's usually made from starch, sugar, and water, which is the reason why it's so soft and chewy. It's so good. Yes, it's tasty. So this mochi is the rice cake mochi. And then
that's the the one that's my favorite.
Oh, really?
The rice.
Oh, you have to come visit me one day. My grandparents, they make so mochi. Like mochi is made from very specific kind of rice. You can't make it from any other rice. You can only make it from type of rice called mochi rice. So when we make mochi, we literally have to make or buy specific kind of rice, and my grandparents makes them, and it's really good.
That's amazing.
But
I would love to try that.
Mochi is so good. Oh wait, there's a monster called Mochi? What? Doug Lister-san said there's a monster called Mochi. It's a character from Monster Rancher, if I remember correctly. What? I'm pretty sure it's a sticky monster. Sounds sticky. But yeah, so we also use it for a word like gohan, like food or rice. So anything that has to do with food, this is the kanji for it. I love this kanji. Anything that has to do with this radical. And we also have this one. This is called kihen. Ki means trees. I think this one is pretty interesting because this one is used for kanji that has to do with trees or products made of wood. So yes, if you combine two of this, it becomes hayashi, which means a small like bushes, and then if you combine three of them, it becomes forest. So that's a really famous one. And if you look at the kanji itself, doesn't it kind of look like a tree, you know, with branches?
Yeah, definitely.
But yes, I think that's how it was made, I believe, from the drawings of trees. But the kanji that I came up with was like tsukue, which means table or desk. They're usually made of wood. We have mura, which means a village, because I guess in villages people live next to trees or there's a lot more nature around them. We also have hashira, which means like a column or a steeple, I guess. What is hashira in English? I only can like think of like sorry. There you go. Oh, pillar. Yes, pillars or like posts. That's hashira.
Okay, I was gonna say the only time I've heard hashira is in Demon Slayer.
Oh, I actually haven't watched Demon Slayer, but was it hitobashira? Or something? So hitobashira is a really gory history that we have. I think a lot of cultures have it, sadly. But you know, when people didn't understand how weathers work, people often had the idea of sacrificing somebody to the gods to make them feel better, I guess, and give people rain or stop the rain or something. So sadly, that is what hitobashira means, and sadly, it's a true story that happened in many different parts of Japan before we started to become a little bit more like understand, I guess, science. But
That happens in many cultures too, not just yours. So
I know. I mean, sorry, I guess. But yeah, so hitobashira, like hito means human, so human pillars. I think that is because usually humans would be, you know, like posted on pillars. Okay, that's sad. But yes, Demon Slayers. Well, yeah. Well, I think I have like two more. Okay, so for example, we also have things like hihen. This kanji itself means hi, which means day or the sun. It usually has to do with kanji that has to do with days, the sun, or light. For example, kino means yesterday. The first kanji means the past day. Yo as in like getsuyobi, kayobi. Today for me, I believe, is kayobi. I'm guessing today for you is getsuyobi, right, Nim-san?
I don't know. I haven't learned that one yet.
Oh, okay. So getsuyobi means Monday. Kayobi means Tuesday. For me, it's Tuesday right now, and I'm guessing for you, it's still Monday. Is it?
Yep, it's still Monday for only 4 more minutes.
4 more minutes of Monday. Well, I guess I can say that I live in the future. But, yes. And then we have kanjis like akarui, which means light or bright. So if you see this kanji or like this radical, just remember it has to do something with days, the sun, or the light. If it's like dark, bright, whatever it is. And then, sorry.
That's really so that's cool.
Yeah, the last one I thought was really interesting that I should go through. Okay, this is called Nikuzuki. It's a little bit different from the actual kanji because this kanji itself means the moon. But if you see this, it is used for kanji that has to do with the moon or body parts. Different body parts of our bodies. Yes. So the kanji that I wrote down, one of them is hai, which means lungs. The second one is ude, which means arms. And the third one is hada, which means the skin. So if you see this, especially when you're learning something about body parts, it is because anything that has to do with this radical has to do with body parts. It's really interesting. Yeah. So this. So that's, I guess, it when it comes to talking about radicals. はい、ありがとうございました。Yes. But 何か質問はありますか? Does anybody have any questions? Mim-san, thank you so much for being so patient with me and my interesting weird PowerPoints. But 何か質問ありますか? Do you have any questions about any of them?
No, thank you so much. This has been really interesting, and I love your PowerPoints. I think they're fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. It's pretty simple, but ありがとうございます。So before we end, I did want to go through a little bit about how I think might be the best way for people to learn kanji, study kanji on their own, because as I mentioned, kanji can be really interesting, but also really hard to get through them. It's even hard for us Japanese speakers. So, Mim-san, you did mention that you're going through kanji, right?
Yes, I'm learning a little bit of kanji as I go, as well as the hiragana and the katakana. So, yeah.
I see.
Good.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
The kanji though, it's really kind of fun to see that. I guess I'm kind of a visual learner too.
Oh,
so
that's
it's
perfect then. Yeah, I can then see how it can be really, really useful and like fun. But yeah, so just one thing. The reason why I wanted to mention this before I end is because the way us Japanese people learn kanji when we're in elementary school, and how a lot of, for example, like YouTube videos and websites and textbooks teach you kanji as, you know, people learning Japanese as a second language or a foreign language is extremely different. めちゃくちゃ違います。So, I'm just gonna say that really quick in Japanese. 我々日本人が小学校で漢字を習う工程と海外の方が日本語を第二言語や第三言語として学ぶ場合の漢字の学び方って全然違うんですよね。So the reason why is because usually Japanese, I guess, is not as, for example, like popular of a language as, so to say, English. And a lot of textbooks and Japanese websites are geared towards people who come to Japan to work. And so how people, you know, those websites and apps, the kanji that shows you are kanjis that is a lot more often used in everyday life. But us Japanese as kids, we usually start learning kanji in elementary school. When we start learning them, we start learning by easy kanjis, simple kanjis that can be used for radicals of other words. So for example, we just went through a few radicals like these. Imagine that in Japan, we usually if you look at the radicals on the right side of this list, we usually start learning words like ki, tree, hi, sun or day, or tsuki, which means moon, which eventually turns into radicals as a part of other kanjis. And so this is totally up to the person, but knowing both of the sides, I still believe that, especially if you are not, you know, in an urgent setting, I guess if people are already arriving to Japan, people are already looking for jobs, then I think like the approach of how a lot of websites and textbooks do are a lot more effective because it'll teach you the more everyday used kanji and stuff. But when you want to go through and like learn a little bit more, I guess, like, you know, one step at a time, in the long run, I think the Japanese elementary school way might be a little bit easier of an approach because you're starting to learn things with a lot smaller number of brush strokes, and then you're moving on to just combining different kanjis that you already know and making new ones together. But
that sounds like a really good approach. I like that.
Oh yay! よかった。So sorry, I'm just gonna explain that really quick in Japanese. 我々日本人はね、小学校の時1年生で習う漢字ってすごく決まってるじゃないですか。何を学ぶかって言ったら、1から10を学んだり、でもあとは他の漢字の部首となり得る漢字から学ぶんですよね。例えばこのリストにある右側の食編の食、食べるだったり、木編の木、火編の火、肉付きの月だったり、そういうものから学ぶんですけど、海外の方が日本語を学ぶ場合って基本的に日本にお仕事にいらっしゃったりしてる時とかが多いので、もっと日常的に使う言語、日常的に使う漢字から学んだりするんです。でもそうしたらものすごく複雑な漢字から学ぶことになるのでちょっと難しいんですよね。なのでもしこの先今すぐ日本に行く必要がある、今すぐ日本語を学ぶ必要があるっていうのがない場合、日本人の日本の小学校の1年生が学ぶ方法の方が効率的だと私個人的に考えております。Yes. So I know I'm pretty sure a lot of you here are already on the progress of studying kanji, but if you think you might like the idea of trying to learn like, you know, a little bit more constructively, like one step at a time, I would just say you can just Google something like Japanese grade 1 kanji, and it will show you all the kanji that first graders of Japanese kids learn, which are actually only 68 of them. I know 68 still sounds a lot, but thinking that there's, you know, about 2,000 that us Japanese people learn by the time we graduate high school, starting from that 68 and starting to pair those together to make other kanjis, it's going to be a lot easier of the progress and process for you. So yes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like that. That's a good tip.
Yeah, but again, I think it's still really useful, especially when you are already in the progress of, like, you know, coming into Japan, starting to look for jobs, and then you might want to just follow the way that a lot of textbooks and like apps would help you with. So yes, hi. はい。マイナさん said 根本から学ぶか即席で学ぶかの違いですからね。そうなんですよね。So マイナさん mentioned in the comments that it's a difference between, you know, like starting from the root or like learning as you go because you have to. So it's really different approach. Yes. Noop-san said, I like this radical explanation more than Wanikani. Oh, okay. Thank you. I don't know. I hope Wanikani doesn't get mad at me. But, はい、そうです。ということで、I guess that will be it for my kanji really quick radical lesson. But, はい。何か皆様質問あることとかございますか? Is there anything you have any questions about?
I can't think of any other questions. I just want to say arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you so much. This has been really a great lesson and really informative. And I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. 本当にありがとうございます。I am still trying to get to learn like how to stream, I guess, and how to teach. So, well, let me know if you have any comments on how I can improve or what other things you would like to learn on the comments. And I really appreciate Minさん。本当に本日はありがとうございます。So, you know, I am actually on my lunchtime. And Mim-san agreed on, I know it's really late for her, but she decided to stay up late, and so I'm gonna end right now to let her go so that she can go to bed. I know it's like almost midnight, or it is already midnight, and it's already like, you know, past midnight, clock strikes 12. But again, thank you so much for being here. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. I was just thinking one other thing. I noticed that you're doing for starting this month like a challenge to learn 1,000 new words or something like that.
Yes.
So I wanted to mention that I was looking at it and I don't know if I can actually commit to learning 1,000 new words
because I'm
but the idea I mean, I might not make it in the time frame in 6 months, but I'll definitely keep going with it. So, I didn't know if you wanted to share that with everyone.
Oh yes, thank you so much for the reminder. But yeah, so everyone who's here for the first time, I'm actually hosting a challenge right now, which is a challenge for people to try to learn 1,000 Japanese words in the course of 6 months. It'll be 5 or 6 words a day, and if you continue that for 6 months, it's going to be 1,000 words. The reason why it's 1,000 words is because linguistically, a lot of people believe that in average, people need to know 1,000 words in order to make conversation and start communicating in a certain language, which in other words means as long as you know 1,000. I know that a lot of you who, for example, watches anime, wants to do it for the purpose of watching anime without subtitles. I'm not saying that you will be able to just get rid of subtitles, but I promise you, you'll at least know 40% to 50% of the words as long as you know 1,000 Japanese words. So that's the challenge. Feel free to join. I have a video on my channel that explains how it goes. And I'm also thinking of doing a little bit more follow-ups once in a while, maybe like once every 2 days or 10 days. 2 weeks or 10 days. So if you're interested, I also have free printables, templates where you can like print out and make it as notebooks. So thank you and hope you join. And sorry, really quick, Loopsan commented, if we want to start from the root like this, what do we search? First grade kanji. Yes, you can just go ahead and look up first grade kanji on Google. It will show you a lot of different resources that teaches you. And there's a lot of free printables on there too. I hope that helps. はい。そうです。
Yeah.
So,
great. Thank you.
Yeah. Again, hi. ありがとうございました。And thank you so much for all of you who joined on chat as well. Nice to meet you. Glad to meet you. I hope your Japanese learning journey goes a lot smoother. And I hope it goes well. ということで皆様本日はありがとうございました。この配信はこれにて終了となります。That'll be it for today. Thank you so much. If you are in morning time, I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you are in an afternoon, same to you. If you're at night time, I hope you have a great rest of your night. And おやすみなさい. Good night. ありがとうございました。
おやすみ